Hey guys, welcome back to my weekly videos. I just wanted to hop on here and talk quickly about authenticity and about our individuality. So I wanted to talk about how we not only have permission to be individuals, but we were actually designed and created to be individuals. So I wanted to share with you guys an example and experience from my own life, and I do that a lot. Like, I'll bring up my own individual experiences, not to make it about myself, but just because it's the best way that's how I get my epiphanies, ideas, revelations, is through experiencing these things myself and then thinking, if I experience this, I'm sure there's other people experiencing this as well. So for me, the last couple years has really been refining who I am, my identity, my individuality, what sets me apart. So growing up, I was the type of person who I really didn't know anything about my identity, so I just based it off what other people told me I was. So this little example that I wanted to share with you guys quickly actually has to do with me starting my business for coaching. And I think that when I went to start my coaching business, I felt that there was a lot of pressure. I don't know if it was, I guess it was a little bit of pressure from other people, but also my idea of what a life coach was. And other people's ideas as well. And I feel like I just thought, for me to be a coach, I'm gonna have to delete my Instagram, or I'm gonna have to completely revamp it and delete any photos that like show any type of individuality or authenticity. Pretty much feeling like I'm not allowed to share personal details of my life, or be transparent, or be very creative, or just have like my own personal style. Because the idea that I thought was like, okay, for coaching, I'm gonna have to just have a really like vanilla, plain social media, Instagram, and I'm gonna have to just have photos of me like at a desk with a blazer on or just with clients. And there's nothing wrong with those things, and I do have photos like that, and I will continue to probably incorporate photos like that here and there. But I definitely feel like while I was trying to figure out how am I able to portray myself and what is allowed and what isn't. And for me, I feel like a lot of my personality has to do with like deep feelings, deep thoughts, creativity. There's a lot of there's definitely a major grungy side to me, and just this like melancholy, nostalgic part of me. And definitely I'm a very transparent person. So for me, I felt like I was losing that individuality. And then I started realizing that I don't need to conform to be the idea of what other people think a life coach should be, or how they should portray themselves. Yes, of course, there's a level of professionalism, and it doesn't mean that you air your dirty laundry out on social media, but I can still be myself, which is transparent and creative and doing all these things that I enjoy. And that is me being my authentic self. And so the more that I thought of it, I just wondered like how many of us have been conforming to the world's standards, or whatever area it is in your life that you felt like you need to be A, B, or C, and that you need to do it that way as well. Whereas when we can tap into our individuality, that's what really allows us to be so authentic, and that's what draws other people to us, and that's also what allows us to stand out. And I believe that it brings about more opportunities, because when you're truly being yourself, that's when you're going to shine the most, and that's when you're going to do your best work. And then you also don't feel like you're apologizing for who you are. So the more that I thought of that, the more that I realized that we were actually created to be individuals. We were not created as these clones that we're all supposed to be similar, whether that's the way that we look, the way that we dress, the way that we act, what our interests are. We really were created as individuals. Even the fact that there's no single human fingerprint that is exactly identical to another, that in itself just goes to show that we were created to be individuals, not copies. And I actually wanted to find this in scripture as well. I wanted to find some quotes about this. So one scripture that I found here is Jeremiah 1 verses 5. And it says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." Like, how amazing is that? I set you apart. You are an individual. And the other one that I thought of is Matthew 10 verses 30, very short. "But even the hairs on your head are all numbered. I think that's really crazy to even be able to take in, that even the hairs on your head are numbered. And I think it's crazy because we can look at this world, we can look at nature and animals, and we can look at the ocean and the life that lives in the ocean, and the sun and how it sets and how it rises, and the weather, and all of these things that have purpose and were specifically designed for a purpose. So it's crazy to me that we know that about this world, but we don't apply it to ourselves. We don't think that we were created to be individuals with a plan and a purpose, and that every single detail about us, every single gifting, every part of our personality, every part of our outward appearance was specifically designed with intention. Okay, so last scripture I'm going to read as an encouragement is 1 Peter 2 verses 9. But you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's very own possession. As a result, you can show others the goodness of God, for He called you out of the darkness and into His wonderful light. So that was pretty much it for this video. I just wanted this to be a reminder to those of you who may be feeling like that, like if you may be feeling insecure about your individuality, that is what you were called for, to be unique. Or maybe this is just a new perspective if you haven't thought of it that way before, and just to be encouraged that you have permission to be an individual and that's how you were created. So that's it for this video today. Thank you guys so much for listening to this little inspo video, and if there's someone that you think would appreciate it, then definitely send it their way, and I will talk to you guys next week. Bye!